BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Mitchell and Logan, and we're talking spicy hot games that we played at BGG.CON 2024. I didn't get to play this one, but Mitchell, you got to play an advanced copy before you even got your copy in.
Yeah, I was super excited. So right after that game of Heat with Berkey that you had mentioned, I was walking by the ballroom, thousands of people were in it, and I come across a table and I see this beautiful dragon mini, and I was like, I recognize that. I just backed this game on, I think it was Kickstarter, one of the crowdfunding platforms, and it's not supposed to be until next year, So like, this is Flames of Fafnir. I look around, there's no one to be found. It's like a moral dilemma. What I do?
I was walking with you, remember?
Yeah, you were right there. Like, can I just sit down and play this? It wasn't on TTE in one of the events. I waited there until someone showed up again. I sent a message to the Lucky Duck Instagram, and then Devin Norris walks up, and I was like, "Is this yours? Can I play this, please?" And I think he was just backing up for the day. He said, "Come back tomorrow." We hooked up on Discord, and we set up a time, and Dave and I got to play this. Was my highlight of the con. It was such a nice surprise that a game I had just finished backing, I don't know, maybe a month ago the campaign ended, getting to see it in real life. If you click through some of those pictures, for people who don't know, Flames of Fafnir is billed as a physics-based board game. Basically, there's this big dragon on one end of the board, and he's going to shoot fireballs out of the city. And it's based kind of like a dice tower, but it's like a marble. And instead of there being a bowl to collect it at the bottom, it rolls out onto the board. If you click through, I think there's some close-ups of the mini, which are really cool. That's the cardboard version. Look at that. That is
gosh.
That's the actual miniature.
Incredible.
Yes. So basically, to be honest, I knew very little about the mechanics of the game when I backed it. I was just like, I want this game.
Mitchell, when I go to Iberia, this is the picture I'm expecting that I can take at your house.
Well, we just said a while ago that I don't back the expensive versions of games, so I can buy more. So I did get the cardboard version of the dragon.
You're going to have
right
this
there.
one, right?
Yes, yeah. But still, well, actually, so we did get to play the game. Devin had it set up with the cardboard dragon. I was like, why are we not playing with this big, awesome mini? And he said it was the first version of, oh, look, Danny as well.
Danny said, it looks amazing. Yeah. I'm jealous you got to play it.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like,
Evan,
New Iberia is named after the Iberian Peninsula.
It's new. It's the new one.
The better version, maybe. No. Yeah.
You just alienated our 1,000 Spanish viewers, man.
So he had the mini sitting up on the box. I'm like, oh, he wants to use the mini to attract people to the table. I said, can we use that? He said, this is the first version of the mini. We were still figuring out the physics. This dragon is mean. So like the slope of the marble coming out was too what's the word I'm looking for? It was too steep. And he was like, it'll really knock stuff down.
That's very cool.
Reaction.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know anything about this game either, but I might
have to find someone so I can just paint one.
I can't wait to tell you about the gameplay, which I'm almost there. Sorry. So I was like, look, whatever you suggest, we'll play. He's like, yeah, I really suggest playing with the cardboard version because it's more like, as brutal as we want the game to be without being too brutal. And Dave Dugas right there. Like, no, we're playing with the mean dragon. So we played with the mean dragon. So this is a co-competitive game. So it's semi-co-op. Either everybody wins and defeats the dragon. Sorry, not everybody wins. One person wins, whoever has the most points if the humans beat the dragon, or the dragon wins and nobody wins. What I didn't realize, you could abandon humanity, jump on the back of the dragon and become a dragon rider and also be the sole winner with the dragon that way. It is so cool. And I was like, I'm just telling you guys right now, no matter what happens, I'm going to become a dragon rider. Like, you can bet on that. The problem is you have to get to a certain threshold. And whenever I got to that threshold of points, literally the next turn, the dragon was going to be dead. So I was like, I guess I'll stick with humanity, guys. So the way it works, it's almost like a cooperative game in that we each take a turn and then the dragon takes a turn. And the dragon is a deck of cards, and depending on what the card says, what he does, he can either load up a small fireball or a big fireball, or he can move. Or he can do different
sizes right there with the fireballs.
Right. Yep. That's what he's loading into his throat. Or he can defend himself by getting more scales. And then whenever you become the dragon rider, instead of it just being random flips, I believe what happened, no one became a dragon rider, but you then pick which cards are coming out and what the dragon does. So you can set up little walls, right? Little walls in the village, which are those green and yellow squares you can see. Yeah. It doesn't have the screen printing on it yet. But essentially at the far end, closer to us in the picture, there are like 5 little wooden, well, they're supposed to be wood, they're cardboard, like little stake walls outside of a village. And if the dragon knocks all 5 of those down, then he wins. And if he gets through into the village, he can also do more damage. There's little holes that his fireballs can fall into. So you're trying to get through his scales, which is on the left side of the board, those colored runes. And you have to have certain runes to be able to defeat him because he's a dragon. You know, you got to use magic. You can't just go and swing a sword at him. And you get those runes by defeating little spiders on the board or by getting cards. Very, very fun game.
Is this the Archer versus Smog, basically defending the village from getting,
honestly, the Hobbit, maybe a little bit.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Duga said,
Dude, play the Mean Dragon.
He says, hey, you want to play with the Mean Dragon? So that sounds like Dave.
Evan's making a dad joke right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's an obtuse dragon because an acute angle wouldn't let the moral leave. That makes sense. I knew nothing about this game.
Me neither. I'm a little upset I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I invited
Evan is representing
Oh yeah,
Men of Dale. He's got Bard, Men of Dale.
Nice.
Hey Evan, you do represent, but there's somebody that can really represent. Look at that, Steve.
My
Look at
microphone's
Mitchell's guy.
Yeah. Don't make me go get Narsil. Have it on the wall.
In Elvish that says free Wi-Fi. If you look at it.
No, it's his Wi-Fi password at his house is what it is.
And you got the name drop.
Yeah.
Devin,
the
I've never met
funniest thing-
Devin, but Devin is I've interacted with him a lot.
If Devin happens to see this, I apologize. But somehow Dugan mentioned BJ, and he goes, BJ Rosa from Board Game Jambalaya?
the better known board game jambalaya.
Right.
That's right.
Board Game Tasso.
Steve, I did have somebody come up at BGG.CON and said, what happened to Jeremy Howard? Why is he working with Board Game Gumbo anymore? And it's true. We haven't had him in a long time. Because like,
That's true. He
love
definitely was a regular.
He was definitely a regular. We got to get him back on. He's so big with Man versus Meeple, though.
True.
One arm to rule them all. I'm in. I want to play this. This looks really good.
Yeah.
And even the gameplay that you described sounds good. I've got to hear more about the mechanics when we see it on the table. But
yeah,
wow,
the whole
impressive.
cooperative until you want to throw mutiny. I actually just got a Kickstarter in that I need to play. It's called We're Sinking, where you're a bunch of pirates on a sinking ship, and you can either work together to save the ship, or you can sink all of your competitors and be the only one to survive. So it's I kind of want to play this. This seems up my alley.
All right, that is Flames of Fafnir, and that's coming out from Lucky Duck Games, or were they just distributing it?
No, Lucky Duck.
Lucky Duck Games. All right, let's check that one out.